Hey, folks. Welcome to the April 2021 Reformation Gun Club online hangout. I'm your host, Lloyd Bailey, the host of Armed Lutheran Radio, the Armed Lutheran himself. And thank you all for watching and joining us this week. What are we doing here? For newcomers that are just stopping by or never seen this show before, we get together. We try to do this once a month. Hang out with members of the Reformation Gun Club and the cast. And the Reformation Gun Club are our supporters. As I mention on the show every week, we rely on the financial support of our members, the Reformation Gun Club. We don't have any sponsors. We don't have any advertising. And one of the perks of being a member is you get an invite to these monthly. We plan to do it monthly, but life gets in the way sometimes. Right now, life is getting in the way of a lot of stuff for me. I'm actually working at the moment and taking a break from work to do this. And as soon as this is over, I'm going right back to my desk to continue working. So that's the way it's gone for me lately. All right. So I don't know if the cast is going to be able to make it tonight. I'm not sure. Mia did not respond to let me know whether she's going to be able to make it. And Pastor Bennett, I am not certain about either. And Bill is out of town at the Arkansas State IDPA Championship, which unfortunately I was not able to attend. Again, life. So let me get some invites sent out to members of the Reformation Gun Club and see if we can't get some of our members in here to join us on this joyous occasion. So how is everybody? I hope everybody's doing well. Of course, let's see, let me send out this message. Go. So I just sent out a message on our Reformation Gun Club Facebook page, and if I can figure out how to get MeWe doesn't like my browser. Of course it don't. Of course not. The joys of alternate sources of social media is that you have to deal with stuff. Oh, come on. And of course, Chrome, which I never use unless I'm using it for this, doesn't remember my password. So I'm going to have to send this through my phone. Anyway, what are we talking about? I mean, it's been a while since we got together. There's been quite a bit of craziness since we last got together. And let's see, President Biden-Harris released his gun control executive actions. Noted firearms trainer Rob Pincus teamed up with Dan Gross, formerly of the Brady campaign, to write kind of a controversial article about background checks. Democrats have submitted a bunch of legislation banning a bunch of stuff, so-called assault weapons and high-capacity magazines. And I think there was a new one this week suggesting a ban on silencers, I think. So, yeah, there's that. Plus, we've got the Derek Chauvin trial that's, I think, is kind of wrapping up. It's heading towards final arguments. And of course, a couple more police-involved shootings kicked off rioting season again this year. So, yeah, all kinds of fun. Let's see. And as I mentioned, as you'll hear in the show tomorrow, now that rioting season is here again, be sure to leave bricks and Molotov cocktails out for Antifa clause, so he won't get mad at you. Real quick message here for the MeWe members. Join us online. Come and get it. All right, now. So, before we do anything else, and while I give members a chance to show up, real quick, the one thing that I do want to mention, and I mentioned this, I think, 2 episodes back, or no, it may have been the last time we had an online get together. That's why it's been so long. I don't remember it. It's been a while. It's been a couple of months. We skipped last month. One of the things that I mentioned was that I want to do a subscriber giveaway. I want to boost the membership, the subscribers on the YouTube channel, and you can help and reap some benefits if you would like. What I want to do is do a giveaway at 250 subscribers, and then another bigger one at 500. And I wanted to share with you today, really quickly, or maybe not really quickly. I want to give you a look at some of the things that we're going to be giving away. There's more to come. I'm still working on a couple of other things, but I just wanted to kind of show you what's up for grabs. We'll be giving away some swag. I can never figure out where the camera is. Let me get that banner out of the way. That would help. There. We're going to give away some swag. You think, oh, that's just swag. Yeah. But wait, there's more. Signed copies of the new book, Duty to Defend, will be available. We'll be giving away probably 2 copies of this. Maybe 1 copy at the when we get to 250, and then another one when we get to 500. Hang on. There's more. I just piled it into my studio, so it's a little hard to get to. I'm going to also provide, this is my copy, but I'm going to be providing a brand new copy. So you won't get the one that's dog-eared and got some little coffee stain on it. And this is one of my favorite books, A Time to Kill by Greg Hopkins, who is a former guest and is has wrote just a fantastic book for Christians who are interested in self-defense and gun rights. The Myth of Christian Pacifism is the subtitle. This is a great book. We'll be giving away a copy of that. Another that is this is my copy, but again, you'll be getting your own. A copy of Capital Treason by one of our Reformation Gun Club members and one of the contributors to my book, Duty to Defend, Pastor Richard Boland. I'm looking forward to reading this, and you will be able to get a copy as well. Another of my favorite books for those of you who are looking for great resources for understanding self-defense and self-defense law and that sort of thing. This is a fantastic book as well. This is Massad Ayub's Deadly Force, and I'll be giving away a copy of that. Reformation Gun Club member Calroy provided us a giveaway prize for those of you reloaders out there. Again, find the camera, Lloyd. The Lyman 50th edition reloading handbook. When I was reloading, love this book. And as you can see, this one's still in the plastic, brand new, never opened. If you would like mine that has all kinds of dust and dirt and scribble marks in it, I can always provide you with that, but you would probably rather have this one. Okay. Another gift or a prize that we'll be giving away is the Armed Lutheran Library. Not just one Armed Lutheran book, but all of them. All of the Armed Lutheran yearbooks and the original, the one that started all, Here I Blog. So 5 books, that's 1 prize, not 5 prizes. So 1 person will win signed copies, all 5 books. Now, say, all right, there's a bunch of books here. I've got a bunch of these books. I don't need more books. You can never have too many books. Trust me. One moment, sip of, what is this? Screwball peanut butter whiskey. Good stuff. Okay. So, you're wondering what's in this box, I'm sure. I am too, actually. No, I know what's in it. Let me get the other one. The other one's open. All right, so I'll be giving away, if I can open the box without tearing it to pieces, the original Armed Lutheran radio coffee mug with the black accents, which is my favorite. So got a couple of those to give away. Those are nice. And our good friends at Salina Gun Shop here in Salina, Texas, will be providing this. And you may not have ever seen these before. These are actually pretty cool. This is the only one in existence so far, and you will be able to get one of your own. This is a 30, I think it's a 30 ounce, 32 ounce tumbler with the Armed Lutheran logo in your choice of colors. And finally, this is all that I've got so far. There's going to be a few more things that I'm going to release later once I line them up. But these are the things that I'm going to be giving away that I have lined up to give away initially. This is a unique piece that has, there's a limited number of these in existence. And I happen to have an extra one of these. And I hope she will forgive me for I didn't refresh my memory, look up the name before I got on the air here. I wish I had. And I will make the announcement later and correct that. But last year, I think it was, a nice lady from a LCMS Lutheran church was looking to do a fundraiser. And what they wanted to do was to use the Armed Lutheran logo on some items to sell to raise money for their church. And I said, absolutely. We worked out an arrangement. I said, as long as I can get, some of these items, then yes, absolutely. No problem. And so she signed the release, and I sent her the logo, a high-res copy of the logo, and this is what came out. Check that out. Now, it has a little note here. This is handmade with care, hand wash only, not dishwasher safe. This is an applique, I think. It is. You can feel it. I'm not sure how it's done, but this looks fantastic. And it's super heavy. I don't know whether that's crystal or not, but it is heavy enough you could beat someone to death with this. I wouldn't recommend it. I'm not encouraging crime. But we'll be giving away one of these beautiful Armed Lutheran beer steins. It's the only one. Actually, I don't remember how many they made. A very small number were made, and most of them were sold to members or supporters of their church. And then I got a handful for myself, and this is the last one. So this will be available as a giveaway as well. Okay. And then I'll have some more things, wrangle up a few more things for the 500 subscriber giveaway. So we're going to do 2 giveaways. When we're at like 120, 115, 120 subscribers. I didn't check before we came on the air. Again, not doing my job. I'm laying down on the job here. I want to get to 250, and then I'm going to give some of these away. We'll probably do 3 winners at 250, 3 or 4 winners at 250, and you'll get to choose what you want. And then we'll give away the rest of it. Whatever's left, the rest of it is going to be at when we get to 500. So starting now, everybody who is currently subscribed and everybody that subscribes from here forward will get an entry. So that's the way it's going to work. And you can earn extra. You can earn extra entries by commenting on this video that you're in. Tell us you saw it, and I'll get in touch. If you're you get an extra entry, and if you're one of the winners, you will you'll get an extra entry in the drawings, and I'll contact you if you're one of the winners. How about that? Okay, so I planned this this get together at the last minute. I did it a little bit late. So hey, we got one of our newer members joining us here in a minute, and I will bring him on. So couple of announcements real quick. Be sure to check out tomorrow's show, episode 262. We go through some listener email, and there is an absolutely fantastic pastoral pontification from Pastor Bennett, talking about Christians and civil disobedience, and it's a fantastic segment. So be sure to check that out tomorrow night, and check out the new. There's going to be a new version of the show, the video for the show that's going to be on the YouTube channel tomorrow. I put something special together for it. So check that out and let me know what you think. And then next week, we're going to get back to our roots. We haven't done this in a while. We're going to be fisking an article by an anti-gun Christian, an article that I found on pathos.com. It's the Pathos is sort of the cesspool of Christian heresy. And it's usually a good collection of stuff for us to comment on, but it hasn't been for a long time, mainly because nobody's making any arguments about gun control anymore. And most of what they're making is just political, and they're not actually talking theology at all. So we lost interest, but I found something from last week, and we're going to dig into it on next week's show in Clinging to God and Guns. Okay, now, for the first time ever, Drew Newman joins us. How are you, Drew?
I'm doing okay.
Welcome.
Doing okay.
Thank you for supporting the show.
I just saw the link on my email, and I thought I would click on it. So here I am. I was getting ready to go to bed for my. I go to bed early on Saturday night, so I can get up at 4 a.m. for church tomorrow.
Ooh! So wow, that is. For those who think the life of the pastor is just you only work one day a week and you got it easy, they don't know what they're talking about, do they?
No. I had a member once who told me, he said, I only work 1 hour a week, and I said, no, I donate that one. I said that what you pay me for is putting up with you the rest of the week.
That's exactly right. Exactly right. So before we let you get to bed, any thoughts about what's been going on lately? I like to kind of dig into the heads of the members just to see what they're thinking. We talked a lot about the background checks, and a couple of episodes back, I think it was 3 episodes back, and then last week we talked about the new gun control proposals from President Depends. What are your thoughts about what you've seen from the president, and about last week's show?
Well, last week's show was great. In fact, I noted that in a post. But my wife and I, it's pretty hard to comprehend what's going on in the minds of some of these people. It's hard to believe that somebody could actually be that stupid. So the only other option is that they're just interested in completely dismantling our government, and that's a pretty scary thought.
It really is, and that's one of the things that we kept kind of coming back to last week was, is this intentional, or are they just this stupid? And it's hard to believe that people who have been in government that long could be that dumb. So I've got to think, Eighth Commandment.
I agree.
I don't know how you can put the best construction on it when it seems like every time that we see one of these incidents involving gun crime, that they trot out the same tired responses.
Yeah, in fact, I went to watch the news yesterday morning, and my wife came in, and I was watching one of those remodeling shows on HGTV. She said, "What's the matter?" I said, "I just couldn't deal with it anymore."
Yeah,
I needed to take a break.
Yep.
So it seems
It's
like every day it's sort of like when you ask the question, how stupid can you get? They take it as a challenge.
Yep, I'm afraid they do. And it's getting harder and harder to find entertainment that allows us I mean, it used to be movies and TV shows and sports used to be the way we got away from our lives, right? I mean, you relaxed at the end of a long day. You'd seen the news. Okay, news is over. I want to get away from it. Put the newspaper down. I want to watch a sitcom. I want to watch a movie. I want to watch a football game, but you can't do it anymore.
That's true.
So maybe HGTV is in my future.
It's definitely in mine, I'll tell you. Every time I walk in the room, my wife says, "Hey, look at this. This is a new idea for our kitchen."
Something else on the
So,
honey-do list.
yeah, you were doing some remodeling, right? Or some rebuilding. Is that seems to
Yeah.
me like you were the one that had that, right?
Yes. Yeah. Last summer, we went to North Carolina to visit my mom and got a call just as we were leaving. We had left and packed up the U-Haul truck. We were bringing everything. We were bringing my mom back to stay with us for a while here in Texas, and got a call from my neighbor who said, "You've got to call me back right now. There's something wrong with your house," which is what you love to hear on a voicemail, as you're driving around in a U-Haul truck 1,000 miles from home. And I called her and she said, there's water coming out of the walls of your house.
Oh,
And yeah, so I remotely let her in and she put me on FaceTime and you could hear, she had her phone going through the room and you could see the water reflecting and you could hear it sloshing. And she said, "Oh my goodness, it's up to my ankles." And she had just walked in the front door. So we had old faithful going on in a downstairs half bath for, we think, probably a week.
oh wow.
A faucet just exploded and one of the handles, just the water was geysering up out of it. The walls were just soaking and it was dripping from the ceiling. And so yeah, every room downstairs had to be remodeled, just had to yank out all the carpet and replace furniture and tear out drywall and all the and then they damaged the tile in the kitchen and in the process, and so we had to have all that replaced. And it was 6 months
Yeah,
in.
the year we moved to Fort Wayne for me to go to the seminary, we bought a house and we were from California and we moved to Indiana, and we had 20 inches of snow outside, and then that night we had a thunderstorm and we had a flood back to the septic tank into our basement.
Oh gosh.
So
Three strikes you're out.
My wife said, "What are you doing?" And I said, "It's not me." We were in the basement and it was sludge coming across the floor about a foot thick. So anyway, well,
no, not good.
That isn't why not why you're running the show. So
actually, I mean, we kind of, we don't get too serious on the hangouts. It's a lot of it's just catching up with people and finding out how their lives are going and talking about what's fun and interesting in their lives. Tell us a little about your church.
we're just north of Kansas City, Missouri. We're liturgical, confessional, etc., and which is becoming more and more rare in the Missouri Synod these days. But
right,
I know a number of guys that are members of the Reformation Gun Club, and one of them, Dan Freeman, was one of the guys that from Chialis or Chialis. You were trying to pronounce that last week.
Chehalis.
Yeah,
Chehalis. Yeah, he gave me a bit of a hard time about that, and because he is a good guy, and I had been for over a year I'd been mispronouncing Chehalis. I'm Southern; it's what I do. But he was very forgiving, and he just said, "Look, here's how you pronounce it." So I appreciated the pronunciation guide.
I graduated from the seminary in '85, and I've been at Kearney, Missouri for 33 years now. So
See, that's another city that I constantly mispronounce. Kearney. It's not Kearney, right?
it should be Kearney though. Missouri has got a whole bunch of those places. We have Cairo, which should be Cairo, and
Oh, really?
Versailles, which ought to be Versailles, and we have Nevada, which ought to be Nevada. So
We have Nevada here in Texas as well.
okay, well,
That's where
there you go.
That's where Sergeant Bill is from.
Okay.
Texas has its fair share of weirdly named towns as well. I think I saw a video on YouTube, and it was like they had a panel of people and they threw a bunch of Texas city names in front of them and said, "Hey, pronounce it." And it was hilarious. They had no idea. It wasn't Texas people. So they had no idea that Mexia, Mexia, is pronounced Mahia or Mahia. I'm sorry, it's not even Mahia, it's Mahia. We have
Well, my
weird
daughter
names.
called me today and said that she discovered a town in Missouri called Uranus. And there's 25
I'm driving around
20
Uranus.
25 people live there, and they have a fudge shop and a whole bunch of other stuff, and they sell dozens of T-shirts with just hilarious stuff on them.
I have
You'll
no
have to look
doubt.
that up. Yeah, I'd never heard of it before, and I've lived here all these years. So,
Oh my gosh! The next
it's
time
off
I
of Route
drive through
66.
Missouri, I'm going to have to look that up. Oh gosh, that's funny. Well, if you got a name like that, you might as well have fun with it, right?
Exactly.
I've only been through Missouri a couple of times trying to get to Illinois and to Indiana for IDPA matches. And worst dust storm I ever saw in my life was driving through I guess it was eastern Missouri, north of it. You get to from Arkansas headed towards Memphis, and then you go north.
Right.
And it just gets flat as can be, and then out of nowhere, off in the distance, it's like hay colored, and there were just, I don't know whether it was dust or whether it was pollen from all the corn or what, but it was just blowing across the road in huge waves, and it was the weirdest thing I'd ever seen in my life.
Well, we have some strange weather here, but then you have some strange weather down there this year too. So
This is true. Yeah. If you don't like the weather in Texas, stick around. It'll change in a few minutes.
So am I the only one on the show tonight?
It looks like sometimes this happens, and that's okay. That's okay. What is so talk about what is your background with guns? How did you get interested in firearms and the Second Amendment?
I've just got one of our members is a former policeman, and I've wanted to get a concealed carry and a gun for a number of years. I got it. I just only about 2 years. I'm 74. So I got it when I was about 72. And my wife says, "You're too old to be carrying a gun." And I said,
What?
Yeah, so I don't know. She thinks I'm becoming senile or something. In fact, I just went upstairs and got it so I could have it tomorrow. And she said, "You're supposed to have it in a gun safe." And I said, "What's the point of having it in a gun safe if I need to get it? I can't get it. We don't have any kids in the house. I'm not going to shoot you. You're not going to shoot me. We're good." So
Right. Exactly.
that's about
Yeah.
it. And so I've just got a small concealed carry, and I've had a 1911 for a number of years. It's a little tough to conceal carry.
Yeah. There are people who swear they can, and I just don't know how.
Well, you need lots of baggy clothes, and as a pastor, that's awfully difficult.
Right.
So, yeah.
Well, you can put it under the robes, You could actually wear it outside the waistband under the robes. So
that would be good. Hang it from the cincture, right?
Right,
Maybe
exactly.
Maybe open carry. No one would mind.
Getting it out from under the robes would be very difficult. That's true. So you might as well. Yeah. Let's see if I'm not sure. I'll have to look and see if we can find a holster that will work with a cincture. I'm not sure.
Yeah, I use
Somebody needs to work on that.
what, Uncle Mike's or something, the little pocket one that works
Oh
pretty
yeah,
good.
yeah.
And my daughter got me one of those that goes around the belt and then goes down in front of the pocket, and then you just grab a little clip with your left hand and pull it out,
Hmm.
and then it's right there.
Right.
But it's a little awkward too. So
Yeah, I would think that one. Seems like if you pulled that one too hard, you'd throw the gun across the room if you're not careful.
well, it's got a magnetic clip inside it, so
Oh, okay,
it works pretty good. I'm still
okay.
trying to figure out this camera thing. That's why I'm jumping all over the room here. So
No worries. Um, so how did you hear about the how did you hear about the show, and how long have you been listening? And
I heard
uh,
from Melvin Altus. He's a member of my church,
oh,
and he's a member of the gun club too.
right.
And he's the former policeman, and we've done a lot of shooting. Well, we have in fact we have a rod and gun club at our church.
Oh,
So yeah,
I like
we thought
that.
yeah, and people thought that was a little strange, but it's worked out pretty good. So we've got an NRA clock hanging in the fellowship hall. And
It works.
somebody asked me, they said, don't you think that's kind of weird to have? I said, it's legal. It's a legal organization. We got the clock for free. Why not?
Exactly. They're the oldest civil rights organization in the country. I mean, um, even though I would not recommend sending them any money at the moment
Yeah.
because of Wayne LaPierre, but
Yeah, I
their
saw that. Yeah.
foundational principles are important, and hopefully they get things straightened out. So,
So,
your church gun club there, do you guys get together regularly and go shooting, or is it?
well, we did before COVID. We
Yeah,
were
that's
getting
true.
together once a month, and a couple of our members have, one of them's got 50 or 60 acres. It's hilly. And so we go over
Nice.
there and shoot skeets and just do target practice and just shoot. We did have a gun range in town, and they closed it up. So now there's no place real close where you can shoot. So
Was it COVID that took that out, or was it something else?
I know I think it was just kind of stupidity, but the,
Well, there's a
the
little of
people
that.
the people that owned the place before them, I'm not sure what happened, but they were having people shooting in the range, and it was going through the roof and hitting the car lot next door. They thought that was
Oh,
the police kind of frowned on that, so they closed them down.
yeah.
Yeah.
That's wow. Yeah. The first gun range I ever was a member of was kind of like it was underneath a convenience store, and it was possible, if you were really not careful or stupid, you could actually shoot up through the floor of the convenience store if you made a mistake. And I always wondered about that with the gas pumps and all of that stuff. But anyway, nobody ever got hurt. But
Well, you would think that the people in the store would be going, "Where's all that gunfire coming from?"
yeah, exactly. It was very loud up in the store, and that's how I found it. But I stopped there to get gas one day, and I went inside to pay, and I heard all the thumping, and I was like, "That sounds like gunfire. What's going on?" "Oh yeah, we got a store and there's a range downstairs." So I popped my head around there. I was like, "Oh, that's cool," and I became a member, and that's the kind of place where we went when back in North Carolina. I started a kind of a little gun club at our Lutheran church, and that's where we would go and shoot. Um, they gave us great rates on classes and memberships, and so people would get together once a month and go see what everybody, do a little show and tell and see what everybody had to shoot, show off the stuff.
So, do you have any inside scoop on the ammunition situation?
I think it's going to get better, but it's going to take a while. I know Remington fired up their ammunition plant, or maybe then they announced that the plant was going to be up and running again this past week. I don't know how long that's going to take to start getting into the pipeline, but I think it's going to help. I've started seeing like 9mm for around 50 cents a round, which is a lot better than, we had seen it. I'd seen it as high as like 80, 90 cents a round, where you were practically throwing $1 down range every time you pull the trigger, which is part of why I haven't made a real effort to get back out to shoot any matches, because I don't know that I could focus on shooting a good match, because every time I pull the trigger, I'm going to be thinking there's $1, there's $1, there's $1. I don't know that I could be very focused thinking about that the whole time. But I think it's going to get better sooner than people expected. Remington getting back online is going to help a lot. But it's going to take time for all that to work itself into the pipeline, because people are buying like crazy, and we've got more new gun owners than ever. I think, how many million did we add last year? And lots of those people. So you figure a couple million, maybe 4 million new gun owners last year, who first-time gun owners, and they're all buying ammunition, and everybody who's already got guns are buying ammunition, hoarding it. And there's, with all the, I imagine, with all the rioting that's going to be happening, that we've already seen in places like Minneapolis, and I think we're going to see even more of it no matter what happens with the Derek Chauvin trial. I think we're going to see another huge spike in people, buying guns or interested in buying guns for the first time. Because I've heard lots of stories of people who bought guns, who were kind of ambivalent towards guns, or maybe didn't really like guns before. A lot of people who would ideologically be considered on the left side of the aisle, who are suddenly thinking, you know what, all this defund police stuff and all this rioting, maybe I do need a gun.
Yeah, well, that's the sad reality right now, isn't it?
It really is. What are you talked about laying the gun out for tomorrow? Give us your thoughts from a pastor's perspective of guns in church. It's been, we've talked about it a little bit on the show in the past, and that always gets, people hear about people carrying in church, and they get a little antsy or a little worried about that kind of stuff. Give us your thoughts on pastors carrying and on parishioners carrying in the church where it's legal to do so.
Well, I know a number of pastors who do, and I mean, I know you've talked about this before. It seems like if you were ever in that situation where you had to, where it would have been nice to be able to defend yourself, and you don't have anything to do that. It's not like you're waving it around in church or making an issue of it, or even really, not many. Maybe everybody will know after tonight.
Now they do.
But it's not. I'm not making a big deal about it, and there's probably 3 or 4 people in the congregation that carry.
Right.
And it's nice to know. I started doing it when I had, you remember when 2 years ago, I think, or maybe it was 3 years ago now, when the jihadist nutballs were they were threatening to attack at Christmas time.
Mm-hmm.
And that was when I started being more thoughtful about whether we ought to have someone in the church, and maybe me as well,
right,
that could protect people if that would ever happen. So I pray it doesn't ever happen, but you never know.
In this fallen world, you can expect we're not going to see good things all the time. What was the reaction in your church to Sutherland Springs? How did that affect your congregation and their thoughts on church security and concealed carry?
Was that the one in?
That was the one in Texas.
The one in Texas where where they had the security guard.
Well, there were two. That
I
was
mean, they shot the guy, right? He was in
there was
church.
there was that one, and the big one that I think that really got the discussion about church security started was Sutherland Springs, and that was the guy who walked in with the AR-15 and just started shooting people, and the neighbor across the street, Stephen Williford, came out and engaged him with an AR-15
That's right. I
and
remember.
stopped
Okay.
him. Yeah.
Yeah.
How
I
did
think most thoughtful, there's a couple of people who've, I was having a discussion with one of them one time and they said, well, why does anybody need more than, 2 or 3 rounds? And so when I said, well, the Second Amendment wasn't to protect hunters, it was to protect citizens against the government. And
Mhm.
they said, do you really think the government would do something like that? And I said, yeah, I really do.
They already have.
Maybe not right now. Maybe that's not happening now, but it has happened in the past. And, it's, you see all these other countries where they pull guns away from people and then the government takes over.
Mhm.
And it certainly could happen.
And it never seems to. It may reduce gun crime or gun violence, but other forms of violence step in and take their place.
It,
The
it,
UK, you'll see in conversations and social media, people will say, "Well, we did this in the UK." Well, yeah, but then your knife crime's through the roof to the point where you're banning people's table knives.
exactly. And if somebody is nuts enough to want to take somebody out like that, they're going to do it. In spite of the fact that I know we're all infected with original sin and that it's running through our veins naturally, it still kind of blows my mind that someone could do something. I guess it was yesterday or the day before that it happened. 8 people at a FedEx place in Indianapolis.
Oh wow! I've been
Were
so
shot.
buried with work, I didn't even see that. Oh
Yeah,
wow!
that happened yesterday or the day before, and a bunch of people were hurt. 8 people were killed, and the gunman took his own life. What is it that causes somebody to reach that point? I mean, in a kind of a perverted way, I could see maybe you'd want to go in and kill your boss, but to kill everybody in the building,
Right.
that's a little. I'm not suggesting either one is appropriate, but at the same time, where does somebody reach that point, and how do you know when when this is going to happen? When the neighbors are interviewed. Oh, gee, he was a nice guy. Never knew what
That's
never expected
always
this
the
from him.
response. Yeah. Yeah. I don't think who was it? One of the founding fathers talked about talked about dangerous liberty, right? So whenever you have citizens and you trust them to be responsible and they have freedom, they also have the freedom to make bad choices and do bad things. And we that's something that a lot of people are not comfortable with. They think that those of us who support gun rights are happy with that kind of stuff, that we don't mind that those horrible shootings and incidents of mass violence, but we recognize, as you mentioned a moment ago, that we're all infected with an original sin. This is something that we can't legislate away. We can't ban tools and hope that the evil goes away. People are going to make bad decisions. People are going to do evil things, and it's just one of the unfortunate byproducts of living in a society where we are free to make choices, good or bad. And the other option is the government makes all the choices for you. Hey, we got another member joining us for the first time.
All
Matthew
right.
is.
Howdy.
Hey, Matthew, how are you?
Doing good. How about yourself?
Doing well. Where are you?
Nixon, Missouri.
Nixon, Missouri. How close is that to you, Pastor?
I really don't know. We're in Kearney, Missouri, which is Kansas City.
Okay. Yeah,
So,
we're about 5 miles south of Springfield. So
okay.
Okay.
I know I've been through there before, but I don't get south very often. So
fair enough.
Missouri is a hotbed of Reformation Gun Club members. We have, I think, more members per capita in Missouri than any other state.
Yeah, there's a lot of us down here.
Is it the proximity of the seminary in St. Louis, or what?
Well, there's that. Also, Missouri was originally settled by a lot of Germans. So,
It is the Missouri Synod after all. So
Yeah.
I guess that answers my question right there. So what how did you get how did you hear about the podcast, Matthew? How did you get
well, I heard about honestly, I was just kind of going through Apple podcasts trying to figure out something to listen to on a boring day at work.
There's plenty of stuff out there, so that's why I'm always interested to hear how people find us, because I was amazed to hear there's something like,
Dad, who is that?
That's my son.
hey bud,
Wave.
Hi.
how are you? All right, so I looked up and there's like 750,000 podcasts.
Yeah,
Like,
they're really.
how do you figure out what to listen to? So it always amazes me when people find us.
I was looking for Lutheran Hour Ministries and stuff related to that, and just the keyword Lutheran and Armed Lutheran Radio come up, and I'm Lutheran, I'm armed. That sounds like something I want to give a try.
Good deal. How did you I'll put the same question I asked to Pastor Newman to you as well.
Yeah.
How did you get started with guns? What was your introduction to guns?
Introduction to guns was probably around I don't know what age, Boy Scouts. They had the shotgun merit badge, the rifle merit badge.
Those were the good old days.
Yeah. and beyond that, my dad got me my first shotgun when I was in 8th grade, so we could go hunting. So
very good. Okay. And I'm guessing you're carrying every day as well?
Not every day, just because of half the time I'm at work and yeah.
Yep. Oh, you're an essential employee. You have to go into work?
Yes. I don't get vacation from work.
Oh, that stinks.
Yeah. Food on the table, so you know.
What motivated you to start carrying, though? How long have you been carrying, and what was the motivation?
Well, I got my first pistol about 5 years ago, and my motivation would be my children being born.
Yep.
That plus I was in the Army for 12 years, and so I had some familiarity with carrying anyway. So,
gotcha. Thank you for your service. I appreciate that. So do you carry at church?
Not right now, mainly because it's hard to carry my pistol when I'm carrying my guitar.
Okay. We got to work on that. I mean,
Yeah.
I'm trying to figure out a way that Pastor Newman can work something out with his attire at church. So we got to work on something for the praise band.
Yes, indeed.
For those of you out there who make holsters, this is a great opportunity. Don't pass it up. Take it from us. I mean, there's tons of churchgoers who have, needs with their accoutrements at church. So see what you can come up with.
My other son is climbing onto my lap now.
Hey,
Wave.
how are you? I can never find the camera. There's the camera. All right.
There he is. Oh, hey.
Yep. Kids
Looks like you're getting
change
ready
your
for bed.
outlook.
Yeah. Gotta
Yeah.
protect them.
Absolutely. That was the motivation for me. I mean, that was when I grew up around guns, and I got a gun, I think, when I was 12 or 11 or something. And so, but it wasn't until my son was born and we had a guy down the road who turned out to be a get out of prison for murder that I said, maybe I should go get a gun.
Yeah.
I've got a pregnant wife at home, and I'm working second shift, and we have a murderer down the street. So I think I'm going to go buy a gun today.
I actually didn't have to worry about that for my wife, just simply because she's the daughter of a police officer. So she had her gun before we got married.
Oh, nice.
She's probably saying, "When are you going to get a gun, honey?"
Yeah.
Very cool. All right. Well, thank you both for joining in, and I don't know whether you saw the earlier all the stuff that we're gonna do a giveaway. So encourage friends to check out the YouTube channel, and everybody who subscribes once we get to 250, everybody who is currently a subscriber and everyone who subscribes from here forward, we'll throw their names in the hat, and we got a bunch of stuff to give away. So, so thank you both for your support for the show. It really does. I can't tell you how much I appreciate it, especially given all the craziness that's going on currently and the economic situation.
When you were mentioning earlier about we just when Matthew joined, I was going to ask you if you listened to Mark Levin at all. He's he talks a lot about the compact that we have to make with one another as citizens, and you can have all of these laws and all of this legislation, but ultimately, the people in the country have to be willing to submit to those things voluntarily and to be good citizens.
Mm-hmm.
And once the populace decides that they no longer want to abide by the laws, then you've got the kind of stuff that we see going on right now. And then if the government, of course, doesn't want to stop some of this stuff and throw some of these yahoos in jail, they're going to continue to just think that they're free to do whatever the heck they want to do, and we're going to see this just continue to escalate. So I'm kind of frustrated with that we can't come up with enough government leaders who have a backbone or other stuff to be able to put an end to this and not to be so wishy-washy about everything. So
yeah, it's always the low-hanging fruit, right? It's the easy solution. Oh, we've got violence, so we need to ban guns, because the real solution, that solution where we get people caring about each other again and actually caring about protecting one another and actually defending life, that's a harder thing for us to do. Fixing people's families and rebuilding the family that over 40, 50 years of the great society we've destroyed, that's really hard to fix. And so it's easier for politicians to just say, well, let's ban guns, and then pat themselves on the back because they did something, right?
That's all what they can do to try to get reelected.
Yeah, and it allows them to sort of pander to their base and say, hey, look what I did. We proposed these gun control laws. These are the things you care about, but we just couldn't quite get it done. So keep giving us money and keep voting for us. We'll do it next time. And it just it's in the end, like you said, they care more about getting reelected than they care about the citizens of the country that they represent.
Yeah.
And also they can go to other districts and say, well, your Republican representative was against this bill, so you need to vote this guy in the next time.
Yep.
And get more like-minded people who aren't going to do anything actually constructive about it.
Yep. We don't have the political will to do the right thing. We'd rather do the easy thing.
Yeah.
Before we wrap up, any final thoughts from you guys?
Well, we didn't know we were going to be the stars of the show, so thanks a lot.
Well, we usually try to go about an hour, and I know, Pastor, you need to get some rest. You got a very busy day, and getting up at 4:00. Good on you.
Yeah, I used to have a sign hanging in my study that said, if God wanted us to enjoy the sunrise, he'd have made it later in the day. So, I'm not an early morning person. I would sleep till 9 or 10 o'clock if I didn't have an alarm clock. So yeah, so I try to go to bed early so I can get up early the Monday or Wednesday and Sunday. The rest of the days I sleep till about 8. So
Yep. Well, I appreciate you staying up a little late and hanging out with us. It was great to see you. And Matthew, thank you as well for joining us, and thanks for your support for the show. I really do appreciate you guys coming on. We'll do this again next month. I promise. I won't skip another month.
Well, thanks a lot.
All right, thanks, guys. All right, folks. Big props to Drew and Matthew for joining us. That was great. I really do appreciate them hanging out with us, and I hope you guys will consider joining them as members of the Reformation Gun Club. For as little as $1 a month, you can help support the show and come hang out with some really cool people like Pastor Newman and Matthew and many others. So check out all the info about the Gun Club at armedlutheran.us/gun club. Again, tomorrow's episode, number 262. Be sure to check it out, and be sure to check out the video here on the YouTube channel that relates to it. It's a little bit different. It's not just audio. Normally, our hosting provider just posts the audio with a static image to YouTube, and then I try to add some things from time to time. This week I put something together special, so check it out. Let me know what you think. Of course, encourage your friends to subscribe to the YouTube channel. We got a big subscriber giveaway, as I mentioned at the beginning of the episode. If you didn't see that, go back and watch this later. And then next week, episode 260, I'm losing track, 263, will be a Clinging to God and Guns show with myself and Pastor Bennett, and we will be back to our old selves and debunking an article from an anti-gun Christian from Patheos.com, something we haven't done in quite a while, so that should be fun, especially since the guy who wrote the article seems to be a complete lunatic and has no business being in a pulpit. So that should be an enjoyable show. So again, thank you so much for joining us. Have a great night, and I will talk to you again next month right here on the next Reformation Gun Club online hangout. Have a good night.